Welcome to the Wednesday Bible study coming to you from Macedonia Baptist Church of Monroe, North Carolina. Today we're going to, since this is Passion Week, we're going to look at one of the final messages that Jesus left during his earthly ministry before his crucifixion. He had other messages after he was resurrected, but this is during Passion Week, as I said. And it's the judgment of the sheep and the goats. It's talking about the final judgment when all the nations will come together and the Lord will judge each one. So it starts off in verse 31, when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. Now, this is, as I said, the week before his death, the week of his death on the cross, but he's talking about the future here. He's talking about when he returns to sit on the throne of his glory. He's going to be in control of all the universe, and everything will be his footstool, so to speak. Verse 32, all the nations will be gathered before him. Now, during history, human history, starting at the Tower of Babel, the people have been against God, most of them. And even after God chose Israel to be his people, over time, most of the people who were associated with Israel, they turned their back on God. So this is all the nations will be gathered before him. And he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. Now this was a common practice among shepherds of Jesus' day, and the people could very well understand what this was talking about. And of course, the sheep, those are the people who are doing acts of kindness. More than anything, these are people who have repented of their sins and they have followed Christ. So they're going to be divided from the goats. The goats are representative of the lost. Verse 33, and he will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right hand, come you, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Now, we could continue reading this passage, but it continues with, finally, the people asking Jesus, Lord, when did we do these things? And of course he said, if you did it to the least of these, it was the same as you doing it to me. And of course this kind of attitude for a sheep would be reflective of their love for Christ, their love for their fellow man, their compassion, their understanding that anybody can have a bad day. And so if people are hungry and thirsty, they're a stranger, they don't know anyone, these people need ministry. Of course, this is what Jesus taught about during his 3-year earthly ministry. And he's wanting to leave this this word, especially with his closest disciples. And because he knows what's coming, he's about to go to the cross. He's going to leave them, although after the resurrection, he will appear to them several times and over a 40-day period. And then he will ascend back to the Father. So I see this passage in Matthew 25 as Jesus taking the opportunity to kind of put a period to this part of his ministry. He has led his disciples. He's tried to set the standard. He's been a good example of what of all the love that he gave people and his acceptance of people. He even accepted people who were against him, like Judas Iscariot. He knew Judas Iscariot was going to betray him, yet he was still kind to him. So this is the Jesus that we serve, and coming into this Easter weekend, we need to just be reminded to give to those who have need, and to reach out and try to have fellowship with individuals who are lonely. And the true meaning of the crucifixion and resurrection really comes out when we see these kinds of behaviors in Christian people. So we're Christians. We're supposed to be different from the world, and having activities like this is what God's called us into. Well, speaking of Easter, Macedonia's Easter Sunday activities will be sunrise service at 7 a.m. and fellowship breakfast at 7:30 a.m. and then worship at 8:30 a.m. I realize all these are early times, but I want to urge you to try to get a little extra rest on Saturday night so you'll be ready to come out and join us and be with us. We'll be back behind the church at the cemetery at the Three Crosses for the sunrise service. And of course, to come together for our fellowship breakfast, and then to top it all off with our 8:30 a.m. worship. And we're going to be talking about the resurrection of all things, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And because Jesus experienced resurrection, his people are going to experience resurrection one day. And it's all there in the book. We'll talk about it on Sunday. So we look forward to you coming. Have a great week.